Vetarave Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My Dandavat Pranam devotees. So this is a very quick video, and this is to answer a question that came in only a couple of days ago. I know I have many questions which are still pending, and again, just because we're just now returning from travel only a day or so ago, I'll certainly get around to trying to answer those questions via this medium. Of course, a lot of the questions I did answer back or give a response directly to the person posing the question. I took this question because it came in a couple of days ago, but also because it was apropos to our Kartik Mas Vrata. The devotee was asking, it's a couple actually, and they were asking about the Vrat for Kartik Mas and what's its significance in relation to everything else that we're doing. They did mention in the course of their question that they recognize that this month is very special and that they've heard the Hari Katha of my Guru Parapadma, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnu Pada Paramoksa, Astutara Satta Sishamat, Shri Bhakti Vedanta Nayan Goswami Maharaj, and how he described that, of course, during this month, so many prominent Leelas of Shri Krishna take place. And in fact, today, not only is the beginning of Kartik Mas, but also it is the Sharid Ras Leela. It is also the Tirubhav Mahotsav of Nitya Lila Pravishnupada Paramoksa Stutara Sisyamat, Srila Bhakti Pragan Keshu Goswami Maharaj, who is my Param Gurudev. So this month just has so many auspicious and spiritually enhancing activities that go on during this month. Of course, starting from today also, day and evening, we sing the Damodarastakam of Satyavrata Muni. So, a vrat means a vow. And this vow is not really different from the vow you take when you accept Harinam and then you accept Diksha gradually. It is a vrat to enhance the mood of seva in the heart. The very nature of a vow is that it is a commitment to a particular outcome. So here in the Kartik Mas, we're not really doing something new. We're making a vow to enhance what we vowed previously. The vow previously, when we come under the shelter of Guru Pada Padma, is that we will first of all become Saranagit, or surrendered. Anukulyasha Sankapa, Pratikulyasha Vivarjanam, Arakshishiti Vishwas, Guptave Varanam Tata, Atmanikshepa Karpanya Saranga Saranagati. So we will vow that we will see that anything that is not favorable to the establishment of pure bhakti and the reestablishment of my spiritual pure identity in relation to pure bhakti, those things will be given up. Right? Or the things that are favorable, rather, will be accepted. And Pratikulyasha means those things which are not favorable to pure bhakti will be dismissed. And Rakshishiti Vishwas. So Rakshishiti means that I will see that Krishna is my only protector. So here it's very interesting. The word Vishwas here means a trust, a conviction. But also Swas means to breathe. So it means the kind of conviction that you have in your next breath. That even though we're not guaranteed the next breath, we fully depend that by the mercy of Bhagavan I will take my next breath. That same kind of Vishwas, trust, conviction that Shri Krishna Bhagavan and our Guru Parampara, that they are our complete protectors. And what are we asking for protection from? We're asking for protection from those things which are pratikul to obtaining the goal of pure bhakti. This body is temporary. So really the idea of Rakshishiti here doesn't mean just protection of this material body. The material body is only as good as it can be for doing seva. Outside of that, of course, we know as long as the material world has existed that these bodies are temporary. So it's not really protect ongoing my material body, but protect this body's engagement in service. Therefore, protect my heart's desire to do seva. So this is the protection. And in order to do that, I realize I cannot do that by my own effort, but rather I need the mercy of Bhagavan. So then it's saying, Goptrave Varanam Tata. Bhagavan is my maintainer. Because from Sri Bhagavan, Sri Radha Krishna Yugal, and our Guru Parampara, the subsidy of our bhajan life goes on. The aspirant in bhakti is not kartata. They're not the doer. They're the witness to the Kripa Shakti coming in parampara that allows the prabhav first, means the influence of Sarup Shakti, to gradually in incremental stages unfold the pure spiritual dimension. So we're not the doers of that. We're the witnesses of the efficacy of the Antaranga Shakti, Sarup Shakti, doing that in us. You understand? So Goptari Varanam Tata means I accept that I am Sakshi to the Kripa Shakti coming from Radhakrishna Yuga Mahaprabhu and Guru Parampara. And in light of that, I can develop humility because I realize I'm not the doer. The obstacle to humility is always going to be ahamkara. And ahamkara means aham, I am, karana and karata, the cause and doer. You understand? So giving up kartata bhav in a material sense and placing myself as the sakshi, witness to the glory of the kripa of Radhakrishna, Mahaprabhu and our Guru Parampara, that is the actual position under which real humility can come about, realizing that we're being subsidized. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur clearly mentions, Yogyata vichare kichunai pai tomara karunsar, that my entire process of bhajan life is based on the essence of the reality that it is Karun Shakti of Guru and Guru Parampara that is doing everything. So when I examine myself, I see I have nothing in regards to making that happen. You understand? So only thing I can do is have prapati, means the desire to surrender. And then even the facility and subsidy to be able to act that out in terms of actual following the limbs of Saranagati. That's also the power of Kripa Shakti coming from Guru and Guru Parampara, Mahaprabhu Radha Krishna. So the vow that we're taking during Kartik Mas is really a reaffirmation of those very same things. So it's not something new. Now, the benefit here is that during the Kartik Mas also we have the opportunity to, under Anugatya of pure Vaishnavas, to do the parikrama of Sri Vrindavan Dham. And by doing this parikrama, then the inspiration coming from the potency invested in those lila stans and hearing the Harikatha coming from pure Vaishnavas creates prasanga. I've spoken on this many times. Santam prasangam mama veya samviro bhavanti rit karana rasanaya katha. That when we're on the anugatya of pure sadhus, in their samvad means their Harikatha, mama virya means the Shakti of Bhagavan is present. Understand? And if we will hear this Harikatha coming from Sudha Vaishnavas, then Bhavanti Rit Karana Rasanaya Katha, it will illuminate the heart. And when the heart becomes illuminated, it appears on the faculty of the mind, the intelligence, and then Karana means the ear, as Rasayan. It means, according to your Adhikar, the ability to taste the Rasa Samagri in the Leela in each of these places that are visited. And even if the maturation in bhakti is not present to accommodate tasting the Rasa Samagri, then the Rasayan, the tonic, the medicinal tonic of hearing these pastimes continues to purify the consciousness. So this Kartik Mas is really a reiteration and reaffirmation of the vows of Saranagati and the vows that we took to obtain pure bhakti. And so it's not something new, but rather it is an intensification. So during this time, sometimes additional activities are vowed that we will perform every day. For instance, of course, singing of Damodarastakam, but also devotees make vows regarding diet, they make vows regarding other favorable activities, anukul activities for bhakti. I've always recommended that devotees should pick one grantha, means sastra, and they should put effort during this month into the study of that sastra according to their adhikar, and try to develop deep, intense mood of associating with the acharya or Goswami, if it's one of the Goswami granthas, focusing on receiving their mercy through that vow to study their revelation in that particular grantha. Also, devotees should put so much effort into establishing Shambandha Gyan. Without Sambandha Gyan, and I've repeated this in many places that I've gone, without Sambandha Gyan, it's very difficult to, one, practice genuinely, and secondly, to realize the efficacy of the practice. Because as long as we don't establish ourselves in the footing, first of being Krishna Das, after being Krishna Das with aspiration for a Vaishishya in that dasatva. What I mean by that is that as long as there is the maintenance of the upadi of being related to this material world, then that will carry over into the practice of bhakti. And when that carries over into the practice of bhakti, the dominant influence becomes still the ahamkara, false egoism. You understand? So it's not until that is replaced, we can't get rid of it just wholesale, it has to be gradually replaced by fixation in the identity of being Krishna Das. This is why when Sanatana Goswami Pada asked the question, Kayami, Kenyaman, Jare Taputrai, Mahaprabhu answered, Jivera Supoya Krishna Nitya Das. And that the reason that there is any struggle, Jivera Tatastha Shakti Bed Abed Prakash. Because as long as we remain in Tatastha Swabhav, that I am related to this false egoism and the particular karmic upadi I have. Upadi means the designation I have in this life. I am so and so, I belong to this family, I'm in this culture, in this race, in this particular social dynamic. As long as those things are maintained, their influence also affects the practice of bhakti. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the, I believe it's the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in one purport, that the three modes of nature, when they are analyzed, they are always mixing together. So there are three modes of material nature, and when you understand the mutations, 3 times 3 is 9. And then there are 9 practices of bhakti, beginning with Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu Smaran, etc. So 9 times 9 is 81 varieties of the influence of the modes of nature on the practice, as long as there's not the establishment of Sambandha Gyan in first the initial idea, I am Das of Krishna. Jiva Goswami Pad also told, Dasabhuti Haryeva Nanyasha Eva Kadachana. You cannot really be something else. So it's not like we're trying to obtain a false replacement of reality or something. The reality is I am Das of Krishna. That is real. The idea that I am this particular upadi with this particular antakaran means subtle makeup psychologically of the mind, intelligence, and false egoism. No, that's not real. That's the material imposition. So the reality is I'm Das of Krishna. But I'm Das of Krishna in the anugatya of pure, realized nitya parikars of Bhagavan. And being in their anugatya, it gives rise through their harikatha to aspiration. So I am Das of Krishna with aspiration to do the anugatya of the mood which is present in my Guru Pada Padma. Understand? Because what Guru we receive, this is also not accidental. Just like karma is very exacting. In third canto of Bhagavatam it's mentioned, Karmana Daivana Natrena Jantu Deopapatye. Sri Uttarapaveshta Pumsam Reta Karanasaya. Down from whom the semen comes and what womb you enter, all of that is very exacting. We shouldn't think that our bhakti samskars are any less exacting. Praktanaka aduni chasti yatsat bhakti vasana. The bhakti vasana, bhakti samskars, is also very exacting. Whom I come into association with, whom ends up being my guru, in the sense of Sadguru. Because a devotee wrote me, and this is another question I have to address, but I'm not addressing it here, just giving an understanding. He mentioned that he had gone through a situation in which he had aligned with, I think, 2 or 3 different personalities who were performing the function of guru, and then they fell from that position. I don't like to use the word fall because we don't know what kind of dynamic is in the interplay of any individual. So I'm just using that in common parlance. But anyway, he was thinking, well, how is it, that what is my problem? What is my fault? So I wrote back to him, and I still will address it on this forum as he asked me to, that in many cases, these are manifest teachings of Guru Tattva. Because Guru Tattva you study in Sastra, but sometimes it plays out in life in a pragmatic way. That first you may encounter situations in which Sadguru is not present. But if you digest those things in such a way as to understand it was teaching you more about Guru Tattva, then you'll be able to truly recognize when the connection with Sadguru is made. You understand? If in the association of those persons you did not come to this understanding, it was already indicative they were not Sadguru for you. You understand? But if you pray, remain sincere, then Krishna will reveal through those circumstances what is Guru Tattva and allow you to come into the association of Sadguru. You understand? So I just wanted to bring up this point. I didn't want to really get off of our subject matter. So in this way, if you're doing Anugatya under the guidance of Sadguru, then it gives indication of your aspiration. Because what's happening is that when you meet Sadguru, it is the reawakening of the Bhakti Vasan, the Bhakti Sanskar, the Ruchi that was initially instilled by association with the Vaishnava. You understand? Rup Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.38, he's very clear on this point. He asked the question, Yatotaram yata aswado viseshul ashmayipi. So he's saying that when you do a neutral study of the rasas, and this is also mentioned in Ramananda Samvad, it is seen that Madhurya rasa is highest. So this is not a material metric. So you don't analyze, well, Sakya rasa is inferior, Vatsalya rasa. No. He's saying just from a neutral perspective, it's called Tatashta Vichar, the apparent experience of Krishna's happiness is exalted in Madhurya rasa. So then Rup Goswami poses the question, Viseshulashamayapi. Then how do we understand who gets what kind of Viseshulash means particular enthusiasm in a particular ras? What determines that? So then the next line says, Rati Vasanaya Swadi, Bashate Kapi Kasyachit. That what stirs that is a Rati Vasana. Rati Vasana means an impression of that mood. Then in the Tika, commentary of both Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they flush that out, and in particular Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this is an impression that comes from the stimulation of a sadhu in some particular life. That particular sanskar begins to grow life after life, and when we come in contact with Sadguru, especially, it is again nourished. You understand? You can get an example of this in Jaiva Dharma, in the case of Sannyasi Thakur. Sannyasi Thakur saw a Vaishnava. Sannyasi Thakur was a liberated soul. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakankshati. So he was liberated on that platform. But when he saw the Gambhira Bhav, means deep mood, of a Vaishnava, he was impressed by that mood. That put a Bhakti Sanskar in his heart. So he didn't get a chance to speak to that Vaishnava. Asambhasha Tadbhava Gambhira Chittam. He didn't get a chance to exchange with that Vaishnava, but the impression led him to search out Vaishnavas. And then, of course, in meeting Premdas Babaji, at that time, in the association of Premdas Babaji, the fullness of his own mood was brought out. You understand? So, if we realize in this life, I am Das of Krishna, because I have the Anugatya of Sadguru in this way, it is indicative of my aspiration. My inner aspiration is being re-stimulated. So if that inner aspiration was in especially Radha Dasyam, which is primary in our line, it is not exclusive, it's not the only thing, but it is prominent in the line, then it means my aspiration is for Radha Dasyam Apalya Dasi Bhav, Manjari Bhav. You understand? So in this way, I am Das of Krishna with the aspiration of Manjari Bhav. I should do my sudden bhajan from the prism, looking through the prism of that ideal. You understand? Then one can start to appreciate the efficacy that comes from the influence of Swarup Shakti when you hear Harikatha, especially about that mood. You understand? So as you're doing sudden bhajan, even in daily practice, everything from your Stavan Stuti before you get out of bed, to Guru Ashtakam, to your Thakurji Seva, to your Tulsi Parikrama and Tulsi Seva, every single thing will be permeated with that aspiration, right? Literally in Tulsi Parikrama that Al Srila Prabhupada had given, we're asking, please make me a resident Vrindavan, give me Anugatya to Sakis like Lalita Visakha, which is indicative of Manjari Bhav, etc. So, very clearly all these things will become pronounced and they will become meditative. In other words, your sudden bhajan will not become a practice, right? It'll become a meditation. So it is a meditation in practice. You understand? It is not just a practice, it is a meditation in practice. You understand? And that's when the efficacy starts to manifest itself. And if you are truly in the position of being the witness, you can see it clearly. If you try to impose on it with Kartita Bhav, I'm the doer, then a number of things could happen. One is that again you'll obfuscate the actuality of the illumination coming from Swarup Shakti. And secondly, you may impose to a degree which may bring misconceptions like Prakrita Sahajavad, etc. Understand? So we want to follow very clearly the outline of what has been given by our Goswami Bhargavas and our Guru Parampara, how to practice in sudden bhajan. But we want to awaken these inner understandings. And for instance, an excellent grantha to study during this month is Manasiksha. Because Raghunath Das Goswami is the Antara Pant. From Mahaprabhu's line, two kinds of practices in Raganuga bhajan came. One through Vikeshwara Pandit, to Gopal Guru Goswami, to Jnana Chandra Goswami, and Jnana Chandra Goswami, under the guidance of Gopal Guru Goswami, wrote Gaur Govind, Archan, Smaran, Parati. So this is called the Bahir Pant. It is the descriptive external means of how to practice Raganuga Sadhana. Raghunath Das Goswami, under the guidance of Swarup Damodar, in writing Manasiksha, he showed the Antarapant, means the internal adjustments of the consciousness in order to practice Raganuga Sadhana. You understand? So it is very good to study the Manasiksha and understanding through those 12 verses the methodology of our practice in terms of how to make the internal adjustments in your consciousness. What to do, what not to do, what perspective should we see the service to Radhika and how we're serving Krishna through Radhika. All is there. In the 9th verse, Manisha Nattadve Vrajavipina Chandra Surim Nattadve, this explanation is given, how we're serving Krishna through Radhika. Understand? So, this is really what the Kartik Mas is meant for. It's meant for intensification of our original brat to obtain pure bhakti. So it's not a new brat, it is an intensification during a very auspicious time of an original brat to obtain pure bhakti and to obtain our aspirational goal in pure bhakti, whether it be Radha Dasyam or any other rasa, whatever it might be. Prominent again is Radha Dasyam and Manjari Bhav. Alright, I will end here because I have other services to do as well. Jai Vancha Kalpaturuvishya Kripa Shanduvevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Radhe Radhe. So, Didi and Prabhu, if there's any other question or follow-up that you'd like me to do, please just write me again and let me know, and I'll try to accommodate that. I don't like to do repeats of different things unless the topic is a topic that would require it, so I may just answer you personally. But if you really want that it should be again put on this forum, then I try to accommodate as much as possible a devotee's desires in that regard. All right, my Dandavat Pranam, I'm always praying for the mercy of Vaishnavas. Please give me a mercy to go on in the service of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. Jai Radhe Radhe.